I would like for you to please welcome with a warm applause, Mr. Peter Zalewski.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to come up here and speak before you. If you haven't had coffee, you might want to order some. I'm going to give you shock and awe. It's going to be very fast. I don't slow down, and I just sort of go, 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 go. Unfortunately, I don't have any kind of formal presentation, so you're going to have to look at me. There's not going to be any kind of diversion. So let's sort of get started in terms of where we are today. Let me give you an idea of what we do. We love being in the trenches. We're some of the people who just get into the data. We're not going to take anyone else's word for it except the government. So we have people who are scrubbing data every day. They're taking this data, much like a title company would do. You're able to get real-time information. You scrub that real-time information. You plug it into some sort of database. You run some analytics, and lo and behold, you're able to pinpoint sort of where opportunities really are. And we're using that information to basically equip and help our buyers to go out there and try to sniff out the best deals out there. Some people call us bird dogs, if you will. We're the ones that go into the bushes. The hunters sit in the back. It's kind of fitting at this place. Hunters sit in the back and go in the bushes. Birds start flying, and they're basically just trying to take it down. And it's been a good run so far. What I will tell you though is the market's changing. The market's changing dramatically. It seems like increasingly I'm down here in South Beach, but it's more so for presentations rather than deals. The market has stabilized in a lot of cases, unfortunately, for what we're trying to do, but it's a good thing, I think, for the overall economy. And as that starts to happen, you're seeing buyers who are being forced to go elsewhere. So South Beach is really a nice it's a nice trendsetter or a nice feeder, if you will, for downtown Miami and Sunny Isles. So let me sort of give you an idea of kind of what we're looking at. If you look at South Beach, you'll see that there's not many transactions going on down here right now in South Beach in terms of new product. There were probably, well, I can actually tell you specifically. It's probably less than about 100 units have traded in the first half of this year. Those 100 units have traded for about anywhere between $1,350 and $1,450 a square foot. There's virtually no financing available. The transactions are occurring in places like W, places like the Continuum North Tower. They still got like about 40 units that are still unsold. You have the Mondrian trying to get $600 a foot, something like that. So what's happening is everybody's abroad, whether they're coming from Europe, they're coming from Latin America, they're coming from the Northeast, they're coming from Canada, Vancouver. We've had people from Singapore, Monaco, you sort of name it, they've all sort of come here. They all come here with this idea that they're going to steal in Miami Beach. They go to Miami Beach, they suddenly realize new construction, which is what they all want, is going for $1,300, $1,400 a foot. And they're prompted to go elsewhere if they're really sort of looking for the best deal. Now, if they don't necessarily need the sand, where they're going to go is that 4-mile trip over the causeway. They're going to go into downtown Miami. They're going to be able to pick off stuff there and average about $335, $340 a foot, sort of the number Craig had been saying. If they really want sand, where they're forced to go to Sunny Isles Beach. If you go up to Sunny Isles Beach, they're paying about $475 to $525 a foot, depending on the particular project. So really, South Beach is the one that's helping to level out Sunny Isles and really helping to level out downtown Miami. And South Beach is standing for where they are. Right now, there's about 26% of the overall product, about 5,100 units were built since '03 down here. About 26% is unsold. You go into downtown Miami, got about 20% unsold at about 22,250. Go up to Sunny Isles, roughly about 55,000 to 6,000 units or so, of which there's only about 20% left. So there's a slow depletion of the overall inventory. Now that depletion has been intensified in recent times, and this is primarily because of a law that went into effect on July 1st, something called successor developer liability. I'm not an attorney, so don't quote me on it, but the way I understand it is if you or an investor owns 7 units or more roughly in any kind of building, theoretically that investor could be deemed to be the developer. If there's a problem with the building, it's tilting, it's flooding, it's got a defect, it's got a crack, theoretically the association could go after that person. And institutional money couldn't get over that. Wall Street money, the big money, biggest of the biggest, and they're all down here right now. If you haven't seen them, go to a place like this at about 9 o'clock, go to Prime 112, you'll see them everywhere. They're coming in and they're trying to take what they can. Unfortunately, most of it's been depleted. And the reason it's been depleted is this law just went into effect a couple months ago in July. But what that did is it opened up the door for private equity. Private equity is roughly, to keep it straight, 25 million or less. Institutional will be 25 million or more. Most of the institutional money won't lift up a pencil or type anything into a computer unless it's at least $25 million because of the due diligence involved. So private equity saw this opportunity. They moved in, they took down product at a rate of about 65 transactions, 6,000 units, $1.6 billion, and roughly about $215 a square foot, Tri-County area, Palm Beach, Broward, Dade County. First deal went down in July of '08. It occurred at 50 Biscayne. Those guys related, sold to related, and Cousins was the seller went related, and Lupert Adler was the buyer went related. And ultimately they got it for about $256 a foot. I think it's 145, 150 units is what they purchased. Ultimately, they'll probably do okay, but there's been a lot of pain along the way, sort of having to carry that. Since then, the lowest bulk deal we've seen transact in terms of new construction downtown Miami, roughly about 89 to 92 bucks a foot. Now what we're starting to see is we're starting to see those bulk prices start to go up, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Bulk deals are now trading. There was just a deal that traded at the Icon about I think it's about $338 a foot or so, 15 units. Colombian group came in and purchased it. And what's kind of interesting of the 65 deals that we've tracked, we've been able to pinpoint about 25 of them have been foreign nationals. Those foreign nationals are coming from France, they're coming from, we haven't seen Germans yet, we've seen Italians, we've seen French, we've seen Argentinians, a ton of Venezuelans. Some of the Mexicans are running at product. We haven't seen them take down anything big thus far. But the reason all this is critical is these bulk buyers are going in, they're purchasing, and their play is rent some of it and retrade or unload the other portion of it. And that's kind of where the opportunity may be for somebody who's looking for a second home or some sort of investment property. There's a deal that went down, it's a group out of Washington, D.C. They bought right here on 16th and West Avenue, just west of West Avenue, right on the bay, a project called the Capri. They paid $463 a foot. $463 a foot for bulk is a number that I think would shock a lot of people. They went in there, they felt as if they got great value. What are they going to try to retrade it at? $900 a foot. They going to get it? I don't know, but the inventory is disappearing. As it disappears, people are being forced to say, oh, maybe we're near the bottom, maybe we're stabilizing, let's go in. There's no financing there for the most part, so people are being forced to come in all cash. The concept is if I buy cash today, I should get a 15 to 20% discount off of somebody coming in with financing, because someone with financing, it's going to be a longer process to sort of close it. Talk to any realtor who's trying to do a deal, and if that buyer does need financing, the only way a seller will even sign the contract or actually go under contract is if there's a premium being paid, at least from what we're finding. Otherwise, it's easier to do an all-cash deal, take less money, and you're in and out of the transaction 10 to 15 days. And that's really the way the deals are going down. They're going down at a rapid pace.